Okay, that had to be one of the coolest things. You know, we've been hiking, you know, as long as we've been married, we've been hiking for a long, long time, and we've done a lot of parts of the Appalachian Trail, but we've met some hikers along the way. What do they call them? Through hikers.
Oh, through hikers.
Through hikers, and we just met Ting, one of the nicest guys ever. He stopped us, started talking to us, and what I'm going to do in this video, it's just going to be his complete interview. Not even an interview. He just shared his life with us and where he's at and what he's been doing and where he's been going. And he's a character, but what a great experience to talk to somebody like that, that's down to earth, that's real. And we just really enjoyed that.
Living for the day. This day.
It was great. So the rest of this video is just going to be Ting talking about hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Could you smell me?
Were we supposed to?
You oughta.
Are you doing the whole thing?
94, day 94.
That's awesome, man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah?
Town for, I think this, what's that?
What's the hardest part?
Pennsylvania so far.
Why?
And actually just from Duncannon up. Once you go, I mean, when you go south and you go up Hawk Mountain, Duncannon's kind of hard, but after that, Pennsylvania's nice. But once you come across the Susquehanna.
Bad. Does it get easier from here?
I don't think it ever gets easier. And the funniest part is that I think the best part of the trail is from Harpers Ferry to Duncannon.
Which is?
West Virginia, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's
it all kind of blends in after a while?
I know mile numbers. You know, when people go, what shelter was that? I go 1256, you know, or whatever it is. Because, like, this is 1295.4 or 5 when I get to the parking lot down there. And that's how far I've traveled.
So what do you do? Every place you go, you have drop-offs and stuff?
So I don't quite have that good of a system, but I have had a lot of boxes at the edge of the woods. So Pennsylvania, my boots are about to die from the rain and the rocks and Roxylvania. And so a couple days ago, I started making phone calls, and the Edge of the Woods outfitter has the Oboz boots I liked. And my aunt's been trying to send me a box. So I got on the phone. I'm like, Edge of the Woods outfitter, I'll be there on Friday to buy boots. So I think my box is there now. And she says it's big. So I'm taking a 0 tomorrow. My last 0 was at mile 1005. And I've walked 290 miles every day. I just haven't stopped.
Excellent. Good for
no,
you.
it's not. It's stupid.
Why?
Because you get tired and cranky.
But
it's fine. It's just what you do.
so you'll be done by around September?
I think so. I think Labor Day, September 5th is really.
How you doing?
My outside, and I think that I can get before August. I mean, I'd love to be done. And actually, when we were in the Smokies, we had a day where the trail was closed because of weather.
Okay.
And we all got piled up, and you can only camp at the shelters, and it was horrible. And then I got to the Shenandoahs, another national park, walked 20 miles, got to the shelter. It was full, had a terrible camping spot. It rained all the next day. I had in-laws that were 90 miles ahead. I called them and said, I think I'm done with the trail. Come get me. And I had to walk 12 miles, so I just went straight down the road in the rain all the way for 4.5 hours going, you cannot quit on a bad day. So kind of the rules of the trail to be a through hiker say, you don't got to hike it in order. You just got to hike it, same year. So, because a lot of guys go from Georgia to Harpers Ferry, and then they go all the way to Katahdin, Maine without walking, and then walk back to Harpers Ferry, and you don't deal with this heat. You know, you're up in Maine when it's cool. And so I finally got to the ranger station, and I'm sitting there, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. And I was like, you know what? You just became, it's called a flip-flopper, but I changed it to flop-flipper. Because I'm not, you know, but what'll end up happening is I'll go back to their house for Labor Day weekend, and then walk south from there where they drop me off, and I will go through the Shenandoahs on a Monday through Friday after school starts, when not that many people are there.
Right.
and I won't have 2 days of rain. I mean, the first day was, you couldn't even see 150 yards.
Really?
And I was miserable.
I
and
bet.
It was my second national park, and I was like, you know what?
You're done.
I'm pretty much done. And then I sat, and it was like 45 minutes I had to wait for the guy to come get me. And then as we were riding home, he was like, hey, do you need me to bring you back here? And I'm like, nope. I'm going north from your house, and I think I'm gonna be and a lot of people are making that decision for time. You know, I mean, I have some friends that are back at Carlisle, and they said my knees hurt. Don't know about Pennsylvania rocks. We might flip-flop up to the White Mountains, and I was like, well, let me know.
So flip-flop, so they'll actually move from one
all
to the
way
other.
up, and then there's through hiking, which is doing it all in 1 year. Doesn't matter the order. There's a thing called slack packing. You don't even got to carry your full pack the whole time. They use shuttles. They'll like drive you 20 miles up, drop you off, and you just have 1 day of food, no wait, and you walk all the way back to the hostel, pack your pack up, and then they take you to wherever they dropped you off, and then you go forward. There's a lot of different ways, because look, it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard.
we've dreamed of doing it, but we're getting up there in age.
Look,
First of all, I ain't got 6 months to do that.
well, if you section hike it, I mean, you pick a month every summer, figure out the easier parts of the trail, start at Dun Cannon, and you'll walk up a mountain to Hawks Rock, terrible walk. But once you get over that section and get down into lower Pennsylvania, it's flat farmland. The trail in Maryland is big, huge, Autobahn superhighway all the way into Harpers Ferry.
Oh.
And so go from Dun Cannon to Harpers Ferry. It's probably, I don't know how many miles, but you know, it's a good week of walking. Not hard, lots of town food. You can even stay in hotels or find hostels.
There's a lot of ways to do it.
And then after that, you'll know how much you enjoy it. It's not hard. You know, your access to towns is bam, bam. There's always a town right there. And then if you like it, get you an AWOL's guidebook. So every year they have it. It's a little green book that it gives you all the mileages, all the elevations, and then take 1 month a year and walk the trail. Don't go anymore. And then you don't, you know, I'm day 94 and I'm just a little tired, I mean, I'm not really. I just saw a bedded down deer up on the road and walked down and saw the Delaware River.
Yeah, we were just there.
And
I hope you don't mind. I'm documenting this, but I'm going to learn all this stuff. I'm going to learn all this stuff.
Don't mind. Well, you know, the one thing I love is when you're a thru hiker, you're a rock star. Yeah, you meet people, everybody has all these questions, and of course, you know.
So how much weight have you lost?
So I started about 155. 3 weeks in, I was 127.
Whoa.
And I had a 32-inch waist, and now 28s are kind of still loose on me.
So when you stop at the towns, is where you pick up your food and stuff from town to town.
Yep. Some people, like, I do a lot of mailing, but even in between that, you still have to stop and buy food. And some people won't mail because it is, I mean, you know, you have to sit there and write on each side of the box, hold for AT through hiker, and then you have to have people back at home that, you know, and then you leave a little spot blank, and then you call them up and say, look, I had them all numbered, you know, send box number 1 and it says estimated arrival, because they only hold them for 30 days when they get it. But all the post offices along the trail will hold them for 30 days.
That's nice.
You show up with an ID.
That's cool.
You give it to them.
Where's home for you?
Florida right now.
Oh,
Well, I
where?
grew up in Indialantic,
Okay.
near Cocoa Beach.
Oh, okay.
We're from South Florida in Boca Raton.
Palm Beach.
Yeah, well,
Palm Beach.
I sailed from Baltimore to West Palm with a friend to get down there. I grew up in Williamsport, near Williamsport, a place called Hughesville. Don't know if you ever heard of it, but near Williamsport, Pennsylvania was where I grew up at. And I have a great uncle, Galen Milton Tingley, who hiked from Maine to Georgia in 1947.
Oh, wow.
Heard the story, always wanted to do it, and kind of around last Thanksgiving, realized I had the money, still didn't know anything about it, started watching videos, Since I've started, I've changed my pack, my boots, my clothes, my rain gear. There's one more thing, I think. I don't remember, but I got it all wrong except for my sleeping gear. I had an old military poncho liner, and I've had some nights where even that wasn't enough, but that I just was cold. I mean,
So you just took time off of work?
quit.
Or you just quit?
Gave my 2 weeks.
And you'll find another job later?
I'm a pool cleaner in Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
My best friend did that.
You find a job
Yeah.
just like that.
Yeah, my best friend did that. He had like 120 pools that he did a week.
And, right. And what was I going to say? When I get home, I've been hoarding stuff. I'm selling it all because I've been living out of a backpack for 90 days, and I realize how much junk I have. And
well, we sold our house when we bought an RV, and we've been living in an RV for 2 years now. I just traveling. We do a lot of day hikes and stuff. But that's awesome, man. What's your name?
Ting, on the trail,
Ting.
fist bump.
All right. Nice meeting you, brother.
My uncle's last name was Tingley, and all the Tingley's nicknames are Ting, so I adopted that.
And that's your trail name,
that's my
Ting?
trail name this year. And then if I complete it, because I'm pretty in love with this, and if I sell enough crap and get enough money, I'm gonna do it next year. I mean, it's.
Or what about Pacific Coast?
I'm an East Coast guy, and I have yellow blazed. If I go back and do the section I skipped, but no matter what, I've skipped a little bit here, a little bit there. So no matter what, and there's a lot of purists out here that just don't even like to hear it. I don't care. I took a kayak down a lake, aqua blazed, but I would like to hike it end to end, every inch of the trail, just to be able to say I did it. And it's better than anything else I've ever done. So
that's awesome, man.
I mean, I would probably start earlier. Right now I'm trying to
like March?
Miles. What's that?
March is
I started March 25th this year, and I would start if I had the right support, so that I could have winter gear to start and then mail that home and get my summer gear and stuff like that, which I have so far, but I just didn't know. I would probably start like March 10th. Give myself an extra 15 days to trudge through, try to get through the Smokies before the big bubble. And then I would be up to the Shenandoahs before the big bubble. And,
so Smokies, Shenandoah, and then what?
I mean, there's no more than Baxter National Park. The national parks are the only problem, because everywhere else you can camp wherever the hell you want. So if you pull up and there's a campsite and there's 4 tents, I just keep walking. I mean, some days I walk until 6, some days I walked until 8 o'clock at night. I mean,
Really?
I've been in places where you're on a knife edge ridge and you're looking on both sides and there's no camping, and you keep walking and you keep walking. And I've camped on the trail twice because it was the only flat spot. Like here, I mean, you can be in real trouble here. There's no place to camp on that side, and it just depends. And then, I mean, I've heard people put on headlamps and walk until 10 o'clock at night to find camping spots.
Oh, that sounds kind of dangerous, huh?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But through hiking, the mentality is, look, when we stop, we're upset. We're upset when we're not walking. At this point, all you think about is how to get there.
Yeah.
I'm taking a 0 tomorrow, and it will be until 1 o'clock before I can relax. I'll get up and I'll be ready to walk, and then I'll have to go, no, dude, you're cranky and miserable. You gotta stay here. And I got a cousin that lives here, so that's gonna help. But I haven't taken a 0 so long, so it'll take me a little while before I'm, and then about sometime in the afternoon after my second town meal, and I go, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And dinner, and but it's,
you get tired of the packaged meals, huh?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's, there's so many more calories in restaurant food. And
Ting, what's the one thing you've learned about yourself since you've been on the trail?
Man, gosh, I don't know. I guess that so one of the things that bugs me is my hike isn't as pure as everyone else's. And somebody came into camp yesterday and said, this guy's skipping miles and in a car, and I kind of get really upset because the rule is hike your own hike. And I've always been that same guy that, looks at people and wants to say, well, why is he doing that? And I've learned to shut my mouth. My life is the only life I need to worry about. If Joe Schmo's doing something I don't like, that maybe I should just make a little distance between them. But it ain't none of my business, man.
Nope. Your journey is not his
And
journey.
you know, and it's almost human nature to sort of involve yourself. It's hard not to. You know, you want to give advice, and every time, because of skipping the Shenandoahs, right now I yellow blazed, which is riding in a car, which is taboo on the trail. Oh,
But now you'll go back and do
I
Shenandoah.
will. I'll go back and I'll walk the 140 going south to make it up. And I don't even have to walk the whole 140, but I probably will. I mean, I think I only got to walk 100 of it, but I'll end in Waynesboro, which was a fun town. And when you're at Katahdin, there's no alcohol in the park. And when I get to Waynesboro, I'm going straight to a ball and celebrating properly. But just, understanding that everybody has a right to their own life, and
Absolutely.
how I might give them advice will certainly change.
That's awesome, buddy.
I mean, just, yep. And
Well, you made my day, man. That's awesome. Great to hear your story.
Thank
and
you.
It's awesome to be able to, and somebody that's willing to give out information. Some people are just like so,
Well, yeah,
like you said.
they're focused on miles. I got to do 30, and this is what they do all day long. They don't ever look up. I had a friend I was hiking with, and I'd get there, and I'd be like, dude, did you see the Christmas tree? No. Here's the video. Dude, did you see that deer over there? I mean, you went past it right before me. No. Here's the video.
Now, are you documenting this at all?
YouTube, Paul Hoban. So that's my channel. So this is the home channel. This was all the stuff I did before.
Subscribe right there.
Yeah, it's a lot of Florida stuff, but if you click on videos, that's from last to, so if it comes up.
So hello, Ting here.
That'll be my camping site from a couple nights ago.
Well, enjoy the journey, man.
I will. Look, every day gets better. I mean, since the day that I talked myself out of quitting, it's gotten twice as good.